you can see, got the calipers and carriers off. That caliper's still loaded. I gotta take that apart. This is passenger side, driver side. These are all single piston, believe it or not. Basically what we're doing is we're just taking this all apart, cleaning it up. I do want to paint these. It just looks a little bit nicer. We've got new rotors and pad kits coming here. They should actually be here in a day or two. So in the meantime, oh, and new wheel bearings as well. So we're doing the full deal. Peel this out of the way so I can get the my impact gun in on the inside bolts for the CV joint on the driver's side. So there's our CV joint. Alright guys, so where we're at now, you can see the witness marks where the old nuts were, and that's the exact position we will put them back. We'll snug them up and pry this around until it's in the exact position it needs to be in. Again, this is for alignment and caster. We had to remove the CV shaft out of the hub spindle and upright because you have to get to the bolts. You know, and as convenient as a bolt-in hub is, just the geometry of the whole front suspension of this car, the CV shaft comes through your spindle. So that's what's driving your wheel. That needs to be pulled out because you can't get a tool in at an angle really to break the torque on those things. Oh, it did. Again, guys, I apologize for not doing a full tutorial on this, start to finish. There are already videos out there, so I'll give us a chance to clean that up. Oh, geez. And there she is. More parts off of my favorite place to spend money, Rock Auto. We're looking at some brakes and wheel bearings. We are doing all 4 wheel bearings, all 4 brakes, rotors and pads. As you can see, we've got everything we need right here in the box for the new wheel bearings, new wheel bearing kits that come with the hardware. All ready to go. Nice and shiny and new. So the brakes, we went with a brand called Dynamic Friction. Again, if you're familiar with ordering things off of Rock Auto, one of the best features is when you put something in your shopping basket, it tells you that when you continue to look around in the website, it tells you when you're looking at brakes or looking at anything for your car, it tells you which brands are shipping from the same location what you've already got in the shopping cart is shipping from. So that means you're going to save money on shipping. And sometimes it's substantial if you've been following the channel, with how much money we've spent on this so far, and how many times I've had to stop and then order a single item to get us going because something else broke, or and then, you know, that's more money we're out on shipping. So that's one convenient feature I really love about Rock Auto. But again, getting back to the brakes, these are dynamic friction, fairly good reviews. They have this geomet coating. It's more or less designed for higher rust prone areas, but these were a fairly good deal for the whole set. We've got the steer and the rear right there. We got the other sets over there. Not much to look at, guys. It's a brake rotor. Sorry if I'm not. The brakes, we went with ceramic from the same company. So they work better when they're hot. So obviously, this car being down in Texas, we just wanted to set the new owner up for success. So, and it came with some brake kits, or brake assembly kits, all the miscellaneous hardware you'll need. So you may have noticed from my last video with the sandblasting cabinet, we've been busy. Just went with the standard silver on the calipers, and on the carrier brackets we went with just the off-the-shelf red. I did this for a few reasons. I kind of like the offset pop. It doesn't look too over the top with, you know, too much red. And now anytime you have to replace a caliper, which these are all good, none of them were leaking or anything. When I took them all apart and inspected everything, I probably should have just bought rebuilt kits and did it myself. There's not much to rebuilding the caliper. So again, if you ever have to replace just the caliper, you can maintain that little offset red that you might like seeing, or whatever color you want if you're going to do this yourself. Because when you get a new caliper, it's going to be shiny and new anyway. It might not match exactly the silver, but the rears are aluminum and the steers are cast iron. But we're going to load this one in, and there we have a loaded caliper. Give you an idea of how it's going to look once it's installed. So we're going to be replacing all 4 of these wheel bearings anyway. You may notice sometimes driving down the road, but if you hear a weird low rumbling or roaring noise, it's kind of good practice to, when checking these, to maybe find a curvy road where you're going both left and right at about maybe 35 or more. And to listen very carefully to see if it gets louder or quieter depending on which way you're turning. And that is a good indicator of a bad wheel bearing. Again, the fronts, we tore right into it. I never even checked any of the wheel bearings on this car because of the mileage and not knowing the history. I'm just going to replace them regardless. Just with my experience with Volkswagens and Audis in particular. Junk wheel bearing. That's not as bad as if I can find this picture, I will put it up. Again, another Audi. Wheel bearings, non-serviceable. So what is a wheel bearing? Why do I more or less make that a big deal? It connects the entirety of the chassis through the subframe, through the armatures on the control arms. Everything that is connected to the car meets at a single point on the wheel end on either 4 corners through the upright, which is housing the wheel bearing assembly. Everything is transferred through the wheel bearing. When you accelerate, that's taking all of the force and transferring it to the wheel. When you're braking, it's taking all of the force and transferring it through this, from the wheel through the spindle through the rest of the car. Everything as far as turning left, turning right, accelerating, braking, everything you feel from the road is transmitted through your wheel bearings to the steering wheel. It is the most essential component in a wheel assembly. Without it, you're not going anywhere. And for some reason, it is the most overlooked component in the automotive industry, I would guess, from my experience. I don't know why. They're really not that hard to do once you've done them once or twice. And you have a bolt-on style and you have a press-in style. Well, of course, and then that's on conventional vehicles. You have semi-floating and full floating rear ends in bigger trucks with solid rear axles. We don't need to get into all that. Not as bad, still junk. So as you can see, I got those bolts loosened. I was able to loosen those from the outside of the car. You can see they're just offset in a way where you can't get them out with the CV joint in place. Now that those are fully unthreaded from the hub, they're just floating in place. The CV shaft can come this way, the hub will go outwards, and that will allow a little bit more clearance to fish those bolts out and put the new ones in. So the rears are considerably easier than the front. You don't have to undo any suspension components. You don't have to pull the inner CV flange off. So what we have is, and this happens sometimes, the CV shaft is stuck in the splines are seized in the bearing. Not that big of a deal. What you do, since we have a new bolt, you gotta try to protect the threads best you can on the factory CV joint. These are fine threads, these can go in quite a way. So really, all you gotta do, put the bolt back all the way in, back it off maybe just like that. And that worked. See, now it's tight. There we go.